The United States is in a strong position, as its push for education and bureaucratic reform have resulted in a growing middle class, which is fueling progress. President Lincoln managed to ban slavery without instigating an uprising in the South through careful political deal-making and undertaking a massive investiture in the southern states to offset lost economic advantages. Deals with Europe have been cultivated, and the wooden wall is as strong as ever. It is a time of wealth and progress for the United States. In the West, trouble is brewing. Our friends in independent Texas tell of Mexican posturing, as well as settlements that encroach both on our land and theirs. With the political issues in the East settled, it is time to consider the future of the West. Lincoln has made clear publicly he will not consider war, yet this is proving politically dangerous, as many in all parties are seeking one against Mexico. A dark horse political candidate, Isaac Hull, is growing in popularity after making it clear he would prepare an intervention to seize our manifest destiny. The upcoming election will decide our future, as the United States has the economic and the industrial capacity to take on their southern neighbors. This is another episode of Victoria 3 Roleplay. I hope you enjoy. Alright, so economically, we are shoring up the glass industry in the Northeast. We are also working on some tool workshops, and then we're going to dramatically expand our iron mines in the Midwest, given that iron is really the cornerstone of industry in 1842, and we want to build up our steel industry. That's going to be a very high priority for us. We also have railways, and we're going to begin a cross-continental railroad, which I actually may write a post for a little bit. We're going to roleplay that out. So that is currently where we're at. Politically, we have banned slavery, and we did it without a civil war, which was very nice. We currently have Abraham Lincoln as president. He is an experienced political operator, an inspirational orator, and tactful, which is very accurate. That's about right. Obviously, an abolitionist. He's part of the intelligentsia. He's only 32. We got him really early. Propriety of women is actually fairly popular. The groups that support it are both the current groups we have in power right now. So we'll go for giving women property rights, given that our ruling party is literally made up of those two factions, and they both want it. So we'll go ahead and pass that. We will build ourselves a big motor industry in Ohio. I'm fairly biased. I do live there, so we'll prioritize that. And then we'll build the railways after. Kind of hard to have a railway if you don't have any trains to put on it, you know, so we'll wait for that. Hello there.
Hi.
This is an ambassador from the presidency of the United States of America. Am I speaking with Emperor Pedro?
Yes, you are in the audience of Emperor Pedro II.
Glad to hear that. I'm afraid I come here with very troubling circumstances. We have looked on from the United States with growing worry as Brazil continues to fight wars in the Americas. As you know, we have put in place the Monroe Doctrine, which is intended to keep nations out of the Americas. However, I do find your warmongering in South America to be past the point of concern. And there is talk in Washington of, frankly, involvement if this continues.
I agree. Pedro II would like nothing more for all the wars to end. In fact, Pedro II is waging these wars to end the wars.
You will forgive me, but that means very little to us. So I'm going to put this very pointedly. You will stand down in your war in Peru and Bolivia, or else the United States of America will be forced to take an active role in stopping Brazilian aggression in South America. Is this clear?
No, that is not clear. Fortunately, it doesn't believe that there is resiliency on the other side to end the war. As you know, these things are two-way dances. I would end this war today if I could, with status quo antebellum.
As soon as you're able to settle status quo, is Brazil willing to do so?
Yes.
Very
Brazil is
well.
willing to do so.
We do find the situation near to Granada to be very concerning. Obviously, they are given independent stature under Brazil, and we expect that to continue. If we see further action from Brazil, this is a formal warning that the United States will join the opposition in any war you enter into. Is this clear?
Pedro II is merely trying to cause stability and prosperation in South America.
Have I made myself clear?
The Monroe Doctrine may be to prevent wars in South America, but that does not prevent wars in South America.
You're right.
These nations start these wars themselves. Brazil is merely trying to stop them.
As you are an aggressor, you will forgive me if I find that to be a very poor response to such aggression.
I take offense at that.
You may take all the offense you like. Frankly, my president did not send me here to be polite, given your actions. We treat our friends and we treat non-warmongers in the America very different than how we treat your present circumstance. If you change your behavior, we may be willing to reconsider it and work more closely with you. But anyway, I have made my point, and you understand us, I hope.
Yes, we
Very well.
understand the United States.
Thank you for your time. The killer known as the New York Ripper has been long plaguing the state of New York, has finally been arrested. Good! We killed the serial killer. Let's get those filled up. We really need access to more bureaucratic power because there's more reforms I want to do. We're going to go ahead and expand our education access right now. An ongoing effort to implement propriety in women has captured the attention of the Whig Party, which has added full-throated support for the new law as part of its central platform. If we get it passed, why not? It's at 64%. We're getting really unlucky with it. We have a new president. Isaac Hull has been elected. Abraham Lincoln has lost the election to Isaac Hull. He's a Dixie abolitionist. Whoa. And he's a war leader too. He's a part of the intelligentsia. He's a ruler and a politician. He's an abolitionist. He is from the South. He's really old. He's an expert naval commander. He's persistent, and he's an explorer. So, given he's an explorer and a naval commander, he'd really like the West. And given that there's already a lot of support for a potential war in Mexico, I think we are going to go ahead and start to do some warmongering, seeing as Lincoln is out of power now.
Emperor Pedro II wishes to speak with the President of the United States.
Greetings. I'm Isaac Hull. I've been recently elected. You will forgive me if the White House is not in the best state. What can I do for you, sir?
I was told President Lincoln was supposed to be around here.
President Lincoln has recently lost the election. I do see that you have failed to uphold.
He lost the election?
That would be correct.
Are you allowed to do that and stay alive?
Of course. We do things very different in the United States than down there in Brazil, I'm afraid, sir. What is this pertaining to?
It's pertaining to your last warning. We were told that if we conducted war for stability in South America, that we would be invaded, and yet you have allowed instability to ferment in Central America.
In regards to?
Nicaragua.
You're pertaining to that is an internal matter in that country. We have an issue specifically with Brazil being aggressive and putting countries underneath their authority where they have no business doing so. That is what pertains to us.
No business doing so.
And I do see that you have
teach you to love your neighbor.
You have puppeted Ecuador, I see.
Why, yes, the war was ended. You told me to end the war as soon as possible.
I did, and I said you to stand down on white peace.
Sir, you need to consult with your last president's notes on this matter. We were given specific instructions to avoid an intervention, and we have followed them to the letter.
Well, if it was not made clear before, I'm not going to mince words with you. I'm not going to mince words with you, sir. I'm going to make this very simple.
I am an emperor.
I don't give a shit what you are. In the United States, that means very little. We deal with people, not titles. And in the U.S., if you cannot honor yourself as a gentleman, we have a problem.
We have honored the word that you have spoken to us.
Sir, I'm going to put this simply. You will release Ecuador, the United States of America will prepare for military action. Is this clear?
You will regret this one day, sir.
Regardless, am I clear? I'm waiting to see the Ecuadorians given their independence.
You wish for peace, and you would rather have them burned to death. Sir.
As I said, I have no interest in debates with you. I'll leave that to politicking in the United States Congress. You understand?
No, I do not understand.
I expected so, but regardless, I am waiting to see them be released, sir.
Have your day. Presidents are weak. You should know how to hold power.
It appears, given the hostility of South America, Brazil, as well as the ever-present threat of the Europeans and the hostility of Mexico, which is growing by the day, we have no choice but to begin a expansion to our military program. Now, the recent West Point system has created a new officer corps for the United States, and as such, we are in a really unique place to be able to levy a larger military. So let's go ahead and expand upon that right now.
He's a very polite Southern Democrat, but he's got a history of the military. He likes the West, and he doesn't think it should be anyone's hands but the United States. You can be fairly liberal in this time period and still be a warmonger. A lot of like northern liberal Americans who were like pro abolition were huge warmongers for the Mexican-American War. So it's a very interesting political climate during this time period politically. Well, we can't not take Matthew Perry. I mean, come on. We'll go ahead and give him a rank up too. Look at that handlebar mustache. Greetings. Is this President Auburn Sansom?
Yeah, yes, I'm very sorry about showing up so late. I slept in.
No matter at all. It's absolutely delightful to have your company. I'm obviously the recently elected President Isaac Hull. It is a pleasure. President, you've been napping for quite some time, I'm afraid, and events have exacerbated quite quickly. Are you aware of the growing tensions between the United States of America and Mexico?
I understand completely, sir. And I apologize again. I swear I should.
And no matter. It's no matter at all. You don't even think about it again, sir. Do not worry. But we would like to formally discuss with your government the possibility of Texas' involvement in the war, given that you do not have all the area that should be Texan land. We'd like to help you be able to get that back for yourself. Again, we do see Texas as both a valuable ally and a buffer state between the United States and Mexico. Is this something your government might be interested in?
That sounds perfect for us, good sir.
Mighty fine indeed. I'm glad to hear that. In that case, I will be very frank with you. I expect us to initiate military action within the next 2 years. I hope the Texan militia will be ready in that eventuality to march south.
We will have to build up a bit, but I think we can prepare a little bit of something.
I understand, and in order to make that easier, I would like to formally give you some economic aid from the United States government, given our recent windfall, and help you to be able to expand that local militia, sir. I would like to formally offer you an alliance with the United States of America, given we are about to go to war together. Is this agreeable?
That's perfect.
Wonderful. I'm glad to hear that. You should get all the pertinent paperwork in Austin very shortly.
I'll start getting some paperwork for that then on our side.
Wonderful. President, is there anything else I can do for you?
I don't think there is any right now.
Very well. You have a safe travel back home to Austin, sir. I also have had a proposal from one of my admirals, being a naval man myself, that they suspect that a naval invasion down there south in Veracruz would give us a very quick pathway to the capital of Mexico, but we will only enter into that eventuality if we struggle to defeat the enemy in the north. They're giving us a lot of trouble up there in the north, but we are pushing south. If we can cut them off from Indian territory, we'll be in good position. The forces of the United States military have encountered them in the west, and we will be pressing south. I hope the Texas militia is in a good position.
Yes, we are engaging them.
Wonderful.
San Antonio.
Wonderful. Alrighty. Let's get this war underway. Given that we're going to have a lot of wounded veterans after this war, we are going to try and pass poor laws, especially for those who engaged in military service against Mexico. Alright, here we go. We've landed. The U.S. Marine Corps has landed in Veracruz.
I recommend you push quickly while the Mexicans are still busy up in the north.
I plan to, sir. We are quickly pushing. We are right outside the capital of Mexico. Hopefully we can make their government sue for peace as soon as we take their capital. I do see that you have a large contingent of the Mexican military on you. I'm sending forces to relieve you, sir.
Thank
They
you,
will
sir.
get there before 21 days, though. Wonderful. Those borders are absolutely atrocious, but
They're perfect.
I don't agree with that notion, but regardless, we have victories, sir. I'd like to formally raise a glass of the finest southern whiskey to this victory. Would you care to drink with me, sir? No. Good, we implemented poor laws. That's what I was hoping for. That's for the veterans and the very poor Americans who need a little bit of aid. We'll implement those. It's nothing crazy in this time period for poor laws. It's just, what does it even say? It's like, Getting the tramps and hobos off the streets into workhouses is well worth the cost. Yeah, see, this isn't even like giving them money. This is literally just forcing them into labor if they can't work. With the route between the Atlantic and the Pacific complete, the door is open for greater settlement in the American West. With this golden spike, they actually used the golden spike. We call for the unity of our country, as this railroad unites the two great oceans of the world. Guaranteed liberties has passed. Wonderful. Which again is basically like the DOJ, Justice Department. Pueblo students sometimes use their native language in American schools. Some have called for teachers to penalize the use of their languages, forcing children to speak the official language. Oh, we have a new president. Isham Russell. He is reserved, and he's a political operator. So he's just like a super political dude who will do whatever it takes to stay in power. He's Dixie, he's a moderate, he's a ruler and a politician. As such, we're going to make him speak our language, because he'd be probably a bit of an asshole, given the racism prevalent still in the country despite emancipation. We'll go for private healthcare insurance. And now we can also go ahead and map the American Western Frontier. Launch an expedition to map out the unknown regions and geography of the North American Western Frontier. In terms of who we're going to send, who's our best general? We'll send Thomas Jessup. He's 61. Buchanan's younger. We'll send him. He's only 49. I said Matthew Perry, but he's an admiral, so that doesn't really make a lot of sense. Private health insurance. Wonderful. Remember, the expedition has suggested we detour to climb a mountain and claim it for the United States of America. Can't say no to that. We have scaled the mountain. The expedition member has come across a river that is bursting at the banks. They can try to raft across, which would be quick but dangerous. Alternatively, they could search for a more suitable place to cross, though this could take some time. Who did we go with? We went with Buchanan, didn't we? He's also an admiral. God damn it. We'll be safe. With the low temperatures of the mountains, the expedition finds a perfect meadow to take shelter near the river, and, far enough any other village to not disturb their land. An encampment using cottonwood lumber cut from the riverbanks is suggested by Buchanan. Yeah, we'll build a fort. That was very common in like the missions that went west. As the expedition advances, the prioritization of tasks increased in importance, and Buchanan has started a log in which he keeps track of what every man must do.
Hello, American President.
Greetings. Who am I speaking with?
Pedro II has arrived for an audience.
Ah, welcome to Washington, D.C. Emperor Pedro. I will find yourself good accommodations here in the capital. What can I do for you?
May I inquire who is your president now?
My name is Isham Russell.
Yes.
You can call me President Russell. What can I do for you?
Well, I hope to have better relations with you than your last couple presidents. You change out so much. I'm sorry, I must forget them.
Not all of us have the convenience of implementing laws to disenfranchise their people, I'm afraid. But regarding better relations...
My people can vote. It's just, not for me.
I understand. Here in America, we don't look very kindly upon the concept of monarchy, as prevalent as it may be in the old world. Regardless, I do not mean any insult. In terms
And I don't mean any insult as well. Fine. I shall not mince words. I would like to propose that, should the event come, you do not need to give a yes or no at this time, but I will be willing to trade New Granada for Venezuela.
Venezuela is not mine to give, sir. I don't know what you're talking about here.
Oh, surely, sir. You know what I'm talking about. The region of Panama, New Granada, would be ceded to the United States. In exchange, Brazil would receive the rights to have America look the other way, as we bring stability and prosperity to the lands of Venezuela.
I don't mean any disrespect when I say this, but if we ever sought to carve ourselves a canal through the Panama, I don't think there's much New Granada nor yourself could do to stop that. I mean, we'd offer you proper recompense, but sir, you are talking as if you have some leverage with this bargaining standpoint. Now, I'm interested in a soothing and a cooling of relations between Brazil and the United States of America, But coming in
As-
here
as
and,
was
and
my
talk,
explanation
hold on,
before.
sir. I do declare. Let me speak really briefly. Suggesting that the United States can give away a sovereign country like Venezuela for the purchasing of land in the Panama, something I will remind you that is not even on our agenda. It's a very odd way to try and rebuild relations with the United States.
I'm sorry. I'm talking to a head of state.
You are?
I shall refrain from acting this way. in the future.
Hold on. How about we roll things back? Let's start this over again. I would be interested in student relations. I assume, Emperor Pedro, you see similar to me, that the threat of the European is always prevalent in your mind as it is mine. Am I correct?
You are correct. I do border quite a few of them.
I'm aware of that. I myself border several as well. The threat of the European is a great existential threat to the United States of America. And as such, I think we have a mutual interest in ensuring the sovereignty of the United States. But as a democracy, as
of all
a
of the
republic,
Americas.
we must ensure that the people have the right to choose their government. Something you have, as you have said in Brazil too. So for me to hand over or suggest to look the other way while you subjugated people like this, it is concerning. How about we start very simply? The United States of America would be willing to formally end our rivalry with Brazil and see if we can get back to more amicable relations. Would this be something Brazil would be interested in?
On the premise of booting out European influence in our hemisphere, yes.
Of course. I think we can both get behind that.
Furthermore, I mean, to prevent further dust-ups, we could possibly create a treaty organization between us.
What kind of treaty are you proposing?
Well, there are currently many lands in the South Atlantic that are currently under dominion, as Americans would say, I suppose.
You're speaking
of
to the
European powers.
Dutch, French, and British-controlled regions to your north, I presume?
No,
No?
not only that, but of the Spanish-controlled regions of the Caribbean.
There is that. You are suggesting a combining in will to formally start pushing the Europeans out of America entirely.
Yes, these Europeans are bloodthirsty. A war shall erupt before we know it, and it'll be just right in time to kick them out of our lands.
I have no interest in formally starting a war with the European, you understand?
Oh no, the Europeans would start the wars.
You mean a mutual defense pact in the eventuality of European interference in the Americas, is what you're suggesting. I think a formal treaty is signed between this administration of the United States and your emperorship in Brazil to ensure that we would jointly administer the Monroe Doctrine and protect American states from European influence would be most reasonable.
This is something Pedro II will be overjoyed to hand off to his son.
Wonderful.
To inherit.
That brings me much joy. You know, I understand the hostilities we've had in the past. I understand we do not always see eye to eye on many matters. You are an empire, we are a republic, but we have mutual influence, and we have mutual interests, and we must remember this.
Emperor Pedro II agrees.
Very well. Anything else I can do for His Majesty?
Not at this time, no. Thank you for the audience.
Thank you for the visit.
Wonderful conversation.
Absolutely.